Hey guys, it's Jackie, and this week I am sharing with you how I went shopping for an Irish meal, including dessert and a dessert drink. I'm going to share with you the dinner I made. I'm about to devour it now, and I can't wait to share with you. I'm shopping in ALDI, finding the ingredients, sharing the haul, and then sharing with you the cooking process. And all of the recipes will be linked below. If this is of interest to you, I like to do holiday themed meals. I've already shared like a Valentine's Day one. I love shopping and cooking for the holidays, so if you like that or regular grocery hauls, make sure you stick around as a subscriber. I totally appreciate you watching this video, and I hope I can give you inspiration and ideas for cooking and shopping for your own home. Now let's get to it. Let's go see if we have the goodies for an Irish dinner. I'm certainly using many more ALDI ingredients than what I bought. This is definitely not what I'd consider a budget-friendly dinner, although it's better than taking all 5 of my family out for an Irish dinner somewhere else. So we're gonna go through what I purchased. Everything else is from my pantry or my fridge, still purchased from ALDI. So I got butter. This will be used in the mashed potatoes and in the cake, and this was $2.89 for 4 sticks. Obviously it's gonna go much farther than just this single dinner. The corned beef brisket, and this of course was $4.96. I bought the smallest package I could because I knew I didn't need a lot. The Thousand Island dressing was 89 cents, and obviously that will go farther than just making a couple sandwiches. The sourdough bread, this was $2.69. I'll get many sandwiches out of this, and whoever doesn't like corned beef, or like my daughter who's a vegetarian, we'll just make grilled cheese with this meal, or paninis essentially, and we'll definitely get our use out of this bread. I do know that rye bread or pumpernickel or like a swirled rye is pretty typical for Reuben sandwiches. However, ALDI doesn't carry it. I don't have rye flour to make my own bread, so I was fine making the substitute for ease, essentially. I absolutely love this German style sauerkraut. I hope Germany and Ireland get along well because I am still using the German version for the Reubens. But I love this. I like that it's in a jar. It stays for a while, and I will be having hot dogs in the future to use the rest of this because my middle daughter Elsie and I, we love sauerkraut on our hot dogs too. So definitely we'll be using that up. I don't know if I'm saying this right, but I'm making Cole Cannon potatoes. It's like a mashed potato. You add in cabbage and bacon, and I needed to buy cabbage for that. This is really interesting. So I was looking at my receipt when I got home to see how much this ended up being, and guess what? She did not charge me for my cabbage. But I'm not going to take a fresh cabbage back and ask them to reweigh it. I got the smallest one I saw. It was 65 cents a pound, so I'm guessing this is probably like $1.50 it would have been. I don't really know. But I thought it was really interesting that she did not charge me. I got the original Connolly's Country Cream. It's a product of Ireland, and Mom, will be the only one that drinks this. Obviously my husband could if he wanted, but he just doesn't. I will definitely enjoy this during the dessert portion of this dinner. It was $8.99, certainly not budget friendly, but it's so delicious, I really don't care. I'm making an apple cake, and I have everything on hand, like the baking powder, the seasonings. I got some butter, I have flour, everything I need, powdered sugar, except for Granny Smith apples. So I got Granny Smith apples. These were $3.79, which kind of killed me because there were other apple varieties that were less expensive. But I wanted to be authentic to the recipe. The recipe I found on Pinterest was adapted from an Irish cookbook, so I think it's probably pretty authentic. And then that apple cake, you dust it with powdered sugar, and then you can top it with caramel or whipped topping. So I got more whipped topping. You guys know, if you've seen my other grocery hauls, we really like this Friendly Farms aerosol can of whipped topping, and this was $2.89. We have bought enough of these that I know the price of this by heart. So that will go, we'll obviously use that way more than just the single cake, but this is what I got from ALDI for my Irish dinner. Everything else is on hand and still from ALDI, but my total was $29.33. I will link recipes below, but let's get cooking and see what this Irish dinner turns out like. So I'm making my corned beef brisket earlier in the day so that I can have it cool down, slice it, and have it ready to make Reubens. I am, of course, using the corned beef brisket from Aldi. I have garlic here, 5 cloves. I'm going to be chopping this onion. I have beef broth, and the recipe I'm using I will link below, but she calls for 2.5 cups of water. I have this beef broth left in my fridge, so I'm going to use this, and then whatever I need extra I'll just add water. And then I'm using this bottle of beer. Again, this is also from Aldi. I bought it for beer cheese soup, and I've just been keeping it on hand for different recipes. So I'm going to get my corned beef going in the Instant Pot. Again, this recipe is linked below. Okay, we are now layering in the inner pot. I have my onion, garlic, broth, and water. The pickling spices. And now I'm going to put a trivet on top of all of this. Add my beef, the fattiest side up. And I will be trimming that fat after it cooks. That's one of the reasons I want to let it cool. And now I'm going to pour my beer over it. The recipe doesn't call for this, but I'm going to crack some pepper and add a bay leaf or 2 on top. And then we'll set it for high pressure at 85 minutes and let the pressure naturally release for at least 20 minutes according to the recipe. So I realized my trivet was too high. I want my meat to sit a little lower into the liquid. So I'm changing from the tall trivet with his egg shapes to my shorter one. That's better. Now she can bathe. Into the Instant Pot, high pressure. The vent sealed. So the side to our Reubens is going to be Cole Cannon potatoes. I think they're also called Irish mashed potatoes, but I'm using russet potatoes. I'm going to get them boiling and soft, and then we will saute shredded cabbage in some butter, garlic, salt, pepper, and then we'll eventually mash the potatoes, add in the buttery, garlicky cabbage, add in milk and cream, salt and pepper it, and then since I have a vegetarian, I'm not putting bacon right in it, but we will have bacon on the top. And I'm using the real bacon bits, but you could stir it into it, but since we have a vegetarian, we'll obviously leave that on the side. We're gonna get shredding, peeling and boiling, and then we'll get these potatoes started. Smells amazing. Can lift this right up, and I'm gonna let it cool on a plate before I remove all the fat and slice it really thin, and then it will be ready for our Reuben sandwiches. And I am now going to put carrots directly into this broth and let the carrots cook in here. I didn't plan that as part of my meal, but I have carrots on hand, and the broth smells so good that I think the carrots would taste really good cooking in that. And I'm gonna set my Instant Pot to steam for just a few minutes, and they'll be good to go. Now that my potatoes are cooked, I am going to saute the garlic for a few minutes in a tablespoon of butter and get my cabbage going. And once that's all set, we will mash the potatoes with cream and milk and butter, and then we'll add in this portion. Now we're gonna add in the cabbage and get that nice and crispy. Okay, so my cabbage is done. So I have my potatoes, and I'm gonna just give them a light mash. Add in my milk, cream, and butter. Mash some more, and then we'll add in the cabbage and garlic. Also, we'll be salt and peppering it to taste, of course. Amazing. I did take a lot of fat off, and I trimmed it really well. I sliced it, and this is ready for Rubens. Now is the time I get to put my sandwich together. Again, you have to forgive me for not having rye bread, but here's a tip. You could burn the outside and it would look more like rye bread. Really don't recommend that, but there you go, that's an idea. So I'm gonna butter my sourdough. I'm going to layer the corned beef, Swiss cheese. Obviously this is to butter the outside to get a nice crisp. I will layer Thousand Island dressing and sauerkraut, and I will probably have a lot of sauerkraut, the cheese. I want this to be a packed sandwich, and then I'm gonna fry each sandwich in this cute little griddle I got at ALDI. It'll give the nice little panini grill marks, and I will serve it with my carrots and my potatoes. Normally the bacon bits are mixed in with the cabbage, but since I have a vegetarian, I'm just putting it on top and we'll mix it in mine individually. No big deal. I am prepping my Irish apple cake. I'm going to get my dry ingredients together, then I'm gonna mix my egg and my milk together, and you get the butter into the dry ingredients, and then you coat some apple and cinnamon sugar and you layer it. I will link the recipe below. We'll get to making it now. And then I have my ALDI whipped cream and some powdered sugar to top it with once it's cool. So we're gonna get started so it can be cool in time for dinner. Greasing the pan, we're gonna layer half cake batter, then we're gonna put apples, and then we're gonna layer the other half, and we're gonna get it in the oven. It's very sticky, and I'm going to err on the side of putting more on the bottom. It takes a little work to get it all over, but. So they call out either a 9-inch cake pan, which is what I'm using, or a pie plate. Now I have my bottom layer. I'm gonna add all my apples right on top. Spread that out. This part's gonna be tricky, getting the top cake batter on. I have a feeling we'll do okay. So the recipe called out that it's not gonna look perfect, and that's okay. I see why, because the top is so sticky, it's hard to even out. But I'm gonna do the best I can, and we'll get this in the oven. Now I have it as best as I can get it spread out on top. We're gonna get it in the oven for 40 minutes at 350 degrees, or until the top is golden. Okay, so here's the cake right out of the oven. I actually did have to bake it a little longer to get a golden top. I'm gonna let it completely cool. We'll put a dusting of thick powdered sugar on top and serve it with whipped cream later. We all love this cake, but my husband brought up that it's like a scone mix of the cake, which is very true. Okay, so of course I had to buy Irish cream for the Irish dinner. I absolutely love the O'Connolly's or Connolly's. It depends on what flavor, if it says O in front. But I love these. I bought the advent calendar, and one thing I recently discovered is how amazing it is with almond milk. So I am having this when I have my apple cake. It's like a dessert drink. I'm having it with my actual dessert. To get a little more bang for my buck on the Connolly's, I like to thin it out with vanilla almond milk. It's so good. And it helps you not gulp this down because it tastes so good, it goes down easy.
If you think this cake looks good, you should see how my mom makes elephant ears. Thank you so much for watching Chow Down and Chow.